Let's do this.
Let's have good fun. AI will replace all HR jobs.
Definitely not. AI will replace those HR jobs which were not worth HR's time anyhow.
Where you really need that deep human skills. I don't think AI can ever replace it.
Next session, rapid fire. Chat GPT for cover letters. Cheating or clever, Natasha.
Very clever.
Employees hate AI in HR.
If they have to meet an HR and if I am asking them to talk to an AI, they are not going to be happy about it.
AI-powered employee monitoring does more harm than good.
If any organization or if any manager or leader thinks and feels that they need to monitor an employee, then the problem is not AI, the thought process is the problem, right?
We utilized AI to find a big impersonation racket. People were posing as somebody, giving the interviews, and then somebody else actually joined because this was work from home.
What do you think is the future of AI in HR?
If I, look at 5 to 6 years down the line, actually the world might transform in a very big way in a very short time also.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Spotlight. In this episode, we will try and understand the role of AI in the future of HR and the workplace. AI today seems to be present everywhere, from the feed on my Instagram to the Word document I am working on. I wonder where I will encounter AI next. Will it be taking my next job interview? For better or worse, AI is already reshaping HR and the workplace. It is writing job descriptions, screening resumes, and even analyzing your Zoom interviews. But is HR ready for this robo-revolution? My name is Vandana Arvind, an entrepreneur, homemaker, Kathak dancer, and an independent consultant with a passion for creating meaningful conversations. I specialize in organizing roundtable discussions and conversations like the one we are about to experience, where diverse perspectives come together to challenge assumptions and spark new ideas. To help us understand the role of AI in HR today, we have two HR experts joining today's podcast. Our guests today have seen it all, from resume piles to AI bots wanting to steal the show. Meet Kajal Soni, the AVP HR of DWF, a leading global provider of integrated legal and business services. And Natasha Salunke, Senior HR BP, People Experience and Technology of Amazon. Welcome to Beyond the Spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start today's discussion understanding what are the main pillars of HR, especially for those folks who think HR is all about hiring and firing.
So I think people who think that HR is only about hiring and firing, for them it is mainly recruitment, and then it is trying to retain people. These are the only two things I feel they think about. But what is the cornerstone of HR? I would say it is employee experience, and that is between these two pillars, which is extremely crucial, which not only helps you attract the right kind of people and retain them in your organization, but also help them grow as individuals and professionals. And till the time you do not invest in your people, you do not let them thrive, let them innovate, let them perform at the best of their ability in a very safe space and safe environment, your organization's performance cannot become better. So I feel, we have to really focus about how are we investing in our people, how are we giving them the best possible experience so that they are also becoming great leaders, in that particular industry, in this world.
Very true. Kajal, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think you summarized very well. To add, I would say, Vandana, it's pretty simple, to attract the talent, to keep them and make sure that they are growing while you have them in the organization, right? And these are the pillars for any HR practices, any people practices in all organization. It's not only hiring and fire, but everything that happens in between and how do they feel about it, right?
So would you like to talk about any major pillars of HR in terms of, is it about training, is it about employee engagement, or is it about anything specific that you would like to tell us?
Yeah, see, if I have to use the HR language, I would say talent development, And you rightly said employee experience. It's a combination, and it's a blend. It goes hand in hand, right?
Okay.
Unless the person feels that I am growing, whether intellectually or from a designation point of view, or monetary growth means completely different for each individual. Are we enabling that growth for that individual while also helping the organization thrive, right? And if I have to just sum it up, I would say talent development and employee experience.
Very true. I think
Yeah.
that's where both employee and the organization grow.
Exactly.
And that's where you find
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
real connection,
Yeah.
and employees are happy.
Yeah.
Great. So now coming to our main focus of today's podcast, AI in HR. So which HR task says that replace me with AI?
Yeah, and that's an interesting question. I would say anything that is repetitive, boring, monotonous needs to be replaced, right? And what is coming to my mind is one, definitely profile screening, and it's really controversial while I'm saying that CV screenings and recruitment can be replaced by AI. It's happening already. It's there. I think the good part is that it will help eliminate the bias. The risk there is that what we feed in, right? If we say that the keywords are UI, UX example, or we say that the keywords are 5 years of experience, AI will follow what we say. So, right here, the critical aspect is what are we inputting, as the data for CV screening. So one definitely CV screenings can be replaced by AI. Second is anything to do with the data management. So I am sure you both will agree with me. There are multiple systems in HR, right? You have to feed data in X and then Y and then Z. I think this entire data management and analytics can be replaced. And I would love that.
True, and
Yeah.
that will save a lot of time
Oh,
and
yes,
effort.
and efforts. Yeah.
And the transactional part, which HR has
Yeah.
been doing from quite some
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Natasha, would you like to add something?
Definitely. I agree with everything that she said. I feel that whatever is being done at a scale, that can be taken care of by an AI, right? Let's say your organization has somewhat of, 50,000 employees world over, right? You cannot employ an HR in a 1:100 or even a 1:500 ratio to take care of each one of them. That's just not doable. That's just not feasible. It might be an unpopular opinion, but HR is a cost center. And that's how we are treated across organizations. And recently we saw so many news, talking about HRs being laid off. A lot of opinions on top of it said that yes, this is a cost center, and when cost optimization is being talked about, this function is going to get hit. And hence I think that it makes a lot of sense to look at any task that can be done at a scale. Like she mentioned, resume screening. If you're getting hundreds and thousands of resumes, you cannot expect a recruiter to go through each and every one of them. A lot of startups are coming up right now who are working on each and every pillar of the HR domain. So let's say if you're a small startup, or if you're a small company, medium scale company even, and you cannot employ so many HRs to do this task for you, you can always avail the services of these startups, and you can outsource, but you can still get a very good job done for your organization. Similarly, in your own organization, when you need an interface for solving very simple policy related queries or process related queries for employees, AI can do that job very well. You don't need a human being necessarily there.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But what about the traditional methods where, people were managing such large scalable operation without AI? What do you have to say on that? How was that done? And
so, Vandana, we also have to see in which direction the world is moving, right? And in which direction, the whole industry, commerce, priorities, financing, everything is now moving. Earlier, the human touch was the key about having an HR. Anywhere, if you talk about manufacturing or IT, people needed a person to go to and vent about their jobs, right? But now I feel that managers need to be scaled up to do this job. If I am managing a team of 25 or even 30, 40 people, I should be there to listen to my team, solve for their grievances. I don't need a third person, HR, to come and do that for me. And HR can now look at more strategic aspects of the workforce rather than just being, somebody's listening mechanism. So I feel the world is moving and it's high time that we move along with it. Otherwise, as I have told you, so many news are coming, about HR's role becoming obsolete. It is our responsibility to not let that happen.
True. And I think we should embrace AI and move ahead and see how effective and productive we can be. True.
Also, to add what you just said here, see, in traditional practices, you spoke about traditional practices. Vandana, I think people never liked those boring routine work, right? Even as HR professionals, at whatever levels they are, they always hated it.
They didn't have
Right?
a choice, you're saying.
They never had a choice. So what AI will bring here is replace all the routine activities so that people who are doing the actual work have more time to do real work, meaningful work, which will actually help human beings, at work, whether it is, culture, strategy, talent development, employee experience. And these are some of the things where more meaning needs to pour in. I'm not saying it's not happening. Are we doing it enough? Maybe no.
I think here is where you become a real business partner and then being just a transactional
Exactly.
person who's sitting here and,
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. So moving on to the next part, which part of HR are already AI stuff and which will stay human forever? What do you have to say? Kajal?
I think what is already, in my experience, what I see is it's there already in recruitment, in bits and pieces, not handling the entire end-to-end hiring, but in bits and pieces, screening, shortlisting, data crunching. It's already there, and which is fair, right? It's the right thing to happen. Where it will, which is hard to be replaced by AI, it's where we need the actual humanness, right? Employee coaching, handling difficult conversations, exits, or even upskilling for that matter, where you really need that deep human skills to handle, whether it is conflict management, HR investigations, employee coaching, whether it is for performance or development, both. I don't think AI can ever replace it. You will always, and the other side of it is, the question here is not whether AI can do it or not. Maybe AI can, but do we want it to happen? Right, as an organization or as people, human coming together for meaningful work, do we really want that? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, human crave human attention, right? And that is where this question comes: that will we ever allow AI to come in, or will we ever trust AI 100% to be able to handle these human aspects of employee experience?
HR. True.
Yeah,
very true. Natasha, what do you have to say?
I would like to bifurcate it into artificial intelligence and emotional intelligence. So, like she mentioned, anything which can be done with low to medium level of complexity can be given off to AI, right? From a resume screening to first rounds of interviews. I just, came across certain startups which are having an AI take candidate interviews and ask deep dive or follow-up questions basis what the candidate is answering. So that level of complexity has already been reached.
AI is really learning fast.
Yes. However, when let's say an AI has evaluated 500 candidates for me and shortlisted 10 of them, right? And if I'm interviewing those 10, I also look at them from a perspective of confidence, body language, right? What kind of expressions the person is displaying. While they are answering, what is the level of hesitation or confidence that they are showing? And that gives me as a human the emotional intelligence to evaluate if this is a good fit for the role and for my organization. Is this what I'm looking for? This I don't think an AI can ever replace. Similarly, when I'm talking about, let's say, performance management, an AI can definitely look at, like, how many people are there, which locations, which manager, what were their previous ratings, what are the kind of projects they worked on, and what kind of revenue they brought in. But as a business partner, as an HR business partner, I know that which person caused a delay, which person lacked team management skills, which person was not very efficient in running their project or bringing in revenue. And those inputs, I feel, are extremely crucial in the management of people, not only today, but in the future as well. As an HR, how am I leveraging AI to get my mundane and medium complexity tasks done, so that I am reserving more of my time to use my cognitive abilities and my emotional intelligence to make the right decisions, is, I think, the key.
Right decisions at the right time.
Right time, absolutely.
Give us your elevator pitch on why should HR teams care about AI today?
It's already there. Why? I think we cannot, shut our mind and eyes and say that this is not real. It's real. It's already there. It's only fair for us to embrace it, accept it, and make sure that it is making our life easy and more meaningful, right? Just by simply accepting it. And I would say that HR and AI, when we join hands together, which is already happening and happen at many places, it is only going to relieve us. It's not going to replace. AI can never replace an HR professional fully. It will replace the task of HR professional, which is routine and mundane, and it will only relieve us so that we can do more meaningful work.
So Kajal, if suppose I take away AI as a tool from you, what would you say? And what would be your reaction be?
I think I will again go back to, handling 50% of administration and coordination and follow-ups and looking at the data, which is not very, it's not very interesting, right? So it's not about AI. I'm okay
So if you have to buy AI from me, how will you try and buy it from me? What will be your pitch?
Make my life easy. Here are some of the things which I don't enjoy doing, and it's really not adding to my life or even the organization, because the organization is paying me, right? And they want certain value from me, my team, and HR as a function. And it's not happening because 50% of our effort, energy, and mental bandwidth really goes into work which is not HR.
True.
Right.
And I think, like you said, definitely AI makes your life easy and add value to a lot of things that you do in this space.
Yeah.
Very true.
It will just relieve things. This is how I would look at it. And this is what, we as HR professional people and culture professional, we need to understand and accept with this mindset that naturally any technology will disrupt, and it will displace few jobs, not few, many maybe sometimes, right? But it will also create more jobs. So are we ready for it? Are we learning? Are we evolving constantly as human beings ourselves while we advocate for it, right? Through and through. Are we doing it ourselves?
Very
That's the
true.
question we need to ask.
Very true what you said. I think AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice but to, go with it, unlearn, learn, and go ahead.
Yeah. And don't we do this for everything else in life, right? While I know we are discussing a lot about AI right now, don't we do this for everything else in life? Don't we unlearn and learn other things? We do. We keep doing it from the time we are born till the time we die. We are in this process of learning, unlearning, adapting, or leaving. And I think it's just a part of life. AI is a technology which sounds scary because it's happening at a pace which we have never seen.
Very true.
Right?
That's one of the reasons I think a lot of people are a little hesitant to,
It takes, they're taking that backseat. Oh, everything is changing overnight, which is happening, right? It's happening at a speed which is really difficult for us to absorb.
True.
Right? But at the same time, it's happening for some good, right? It's happening for some betterment overall.
And some bad also. Maybe.
I am sure there is a bad, it's not pleasant when people lose jobs.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I was coming to.
It's hard to even think about it, for people who are affected, naturally they are, they will not take it easily and they will not happily accept it. But at the same time, are we as human beings, when we claim that we are the supreme intelligent species, so are we displaying that in true sense in our day-to-day life? Are we really doing it? And when it is in front of us, are we able to really predict it, what is going to happen next? So it's a popcorn moment for us, right, as human being, that this is the biggest change in front of us. It's happening at a speed which is just, it's popping in front of us. We just need to see it and predict and act accordingly.
I think we superhuman beings are also having a competitor AI to compete with, and that's where the real challenge is.
I think let's not call it a competitor. Let's call it it's an extended intelligence that we are getting.
That is created by us only.
Yeah.
Natasha, what is your elevator speech on this?
I agree with Kajal. We are supremely intelligent beings. And I have a firm belief that if we have put so much of energy, effort, time, and investment into building something that is ultimately for the benefit of humanity as a whole, it just depends on us as individuals now, that do we want to panic, be scared of it, run away from it, or shut our eyes and say it's not happening the way she mentioned, or we leverage it, upskill ourselves, live up to the challenge, and become more evolved because of its help. See, you asked her a question, if I take AI away from you, what you will do? She might have to hire an assistant to do that job. But again, that assistant being a human being, asking them to do something which is mundane and routine is not a good use of a human being's time. It is not a value add. A human being is something which has immense potential. If we don't explore it ourselves, who else will come and do that for us? AI, I think, is the greatest opportunity of our time to help us unlock this potential by freeing up our mind and our bandwidth from the routine mundane, and looking at it from a very, very different angle, from a very different perspective, that how can I add value? What more can I do?
Very true. You summed it up very nicely for me. I think, yes, like Natasha and Kajal said, AI is here to stay. Moving ahead with the next topic. So, as far as your organizations are concerned, what is the AI strategy is being played at your organization at large?
See, at DWF, we have already embraced it, adapted. There are certain processes where we have brought AI. It is still in testing phase, where we are saying that, okay, whether it is working well for us or not, what are the outputs, whether we want, is it really there yet? So we are in this phase of testing, experimenting, exploring. But at DWF, we are joining hands together, and we are saying that we will use technology to create best for our customers. And I think, from my understanding as of now, majority of the employees, they understand it, and there is no resistance. There is no active resistance about it.
So how much of AI is for customer driven and how much is for employee focused?
It's ultimately one thing, right? It's whatever AI processes or tools we are implementing right now, it will help our employee to be more efficient and be more productive, which will eventually help the results. So it's for both.
True.
It cannot be for one. Yeah.
Connected.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How is in your case, Natasha?
I think Amazon is pretty much in the implementation and improvisation stage of AI. If you are an Amazon customer, and I'm sure a lot of people are
already.
yes. You go to the Amazon app, you'll see at the corner that Rufus is there to help you with making the right choice about your purchase.
Yes.
Product, pricing, strategy, everything is mentioned.
Yes, even the reviews are summarized.
True.
So from a customer perspective, we now know that the customer has less time, has multiple millions of options. but they want to make the right choice. And to enable them to do that, we have to implement technology, we have to implement AI, and help them make that choice in the best possible way. That's the only way that we are going to retain our customer. The customer is going to stay with us. If I talk about AWS is in a big way AI. The builders who are building their solutions on our platforms are using AI in a big way to help them build better, to remove the blockers, to remove any bugs that are bothering them. We have AI implemented in a big way. So our engineers and our builders now are focusing on making the use of cloud or the use of our products as extremely efficient, less time consuming, with zero lag whatsoever. Similarly, within the organization, if I say, employees are interfacing with AI each and every day. Yesterday itself, my Google Chrome was not supporting some of the Amazon dashboards and platforms. It was 12:30 in the night, and I went on my IT support portal. IT support portal opened up a AI window for me. I told them my plugin is not working. Immediately, I got 5 instructions. I went, I solved for it, I started my work. No IT person had to be available at that point of time. I did not have to wait in the queue. They did not have to take over my system and do something remotely. This is like this, in simple steps, I was able to go back to my work. Similarly, if I have to answer some of my employee questions about policies, or if I need to know myself that how does a process need to be done, I have an AI in terms of HR support available 24/7 within the organization. So as an HR, not only to solve my own queries, to solve employee queries as an employee, to get my own obstacles removed, and to build something, build a solution, build an app, build a dashboard, everything, AI is available for me. And this is what I'm loving about working at Amazon currently, that throughout my 5 years of existence, this is the most exciting time because my autonomy and my ease of
Response
supporting my
time
business.
and
yes.
the work flow should not stop. So I think AI is definitely helping all employees with regards to whether it is leave maybe, or maybe with regards to any kind of query about policies or those questions that a lot of employees have, which they are waiting for HR to come at 9:30 in the morning so they can help them with those queries. I think AI is making a big
Definitely. So within that, I think we have already solved maybe a year or two ago. Now as an HR, I'm also able to build my own reports, my dashboards, look at my people metrics through by building an AI bot for myself.
So what are the HR tools that are using using AI? What are the things that you're implementing?
So one thing about Amazon is that we build internally. Okay, even though we have access to other tools, but because the nature of our data is sensitive and confidential, we build things internally and we rely on them. So let's say I want to look at my organization's location strategy, that from how many locations am I operating, and is it cost effective for me to do so, or is it productive for me to do so? I can quickly download a report. I can quickly see that what is the cost impact that is hitting me by operating from so many different locations. And if I consolidate it into 5-6 major hubs, how is that going to help in my organization structure, in my productivity, and in my cost optimization? So that is the level of innovation that I am talking about right now.
That's great. I think that gives you a lot of learning opportunity also, where you are actually able to, from the concept to the end, you're able to develop a product, and you feel so nice about the fact that you have something which you have developed and you are able to use it in the most efficient and effective manner, because that's what you want. That's very nice.
Absolutely.
What about Kajal? How is AI affecting HR in your organization?
In HR space, I would say we are going little slow. there are, ATS and those AI tools just to sort of do data crunching, data analytics, but we are not there yet when it comes to the HR space. Something which we are trying to implement, and it is part of the, system that we use. We are trying to implement chatbot, and that is something which is as basic as, your data system, your data storing system, right? And are we there yet? No, not fully. But do we want to reach there? Definitely yes, because some of the basic queries, queries like employee policies, queries like, leave and attendance, and all of those, these are repetitive FAQ sort queries, definitely can be handled by chatbot. So that is where we are.
I think this is a business requirement. Again, it depends on the business, how much you need what. And I think that's how you moving ahead depending on the requirement and the cost.
I think it is definitely a requirement, but it's happening at a pace which is much slower than what we are seeing in the business side of the work. Right there, we are more aggressive when we are implementing AI tools, and that's our first priority. And then we will look at all other enabling functions, whether it is HR, finance, and slowly it will happen for sure.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next session, which is my favorite, rapid fire. So I expect you to give me quick answers.
Okay, done. And, let's do this.
Let's have good fun. ChatGPT for cover letters, cheating or clever? Natasha?
Very clever.
Oh, super clever. I love it. But do cover letters, but be yourself as well. So
exactly.
It comes with a
note. When somebody comes to you, when a letter comes to you,
yes,
and you know that this is the work of ChatGPT, what is your reaction?
I would say the thought needs to be, it needs to be individual's thought, right? But you can make it more fancy, make it more glamorous, or, use the tonality of the language that you really want ChatGPT to do it. So you can ask ChatGPT to rewrite it, but the idea... It should be you. It should be you. When HR is reading your profile, it should not come across as it's written by AI. It needs to look like and feel like that it's written by a human being.
Written by Kajal Soni. Makes sense. Best or worst HR tech trend you have seen?
I don't think we can do rapid fire here, but ATS. Dumb ATS, if I can use that word in this conversation. I have seen ATS and I've used it. I'm not going to name that, but I've used ATS where the system rejected all CVs because the keywords that was put there was wrong. So, and whoever put that keywords, of course, it's the human mistake, but it's why to use such system which is so risky, because the system actually rejected all CVs.
My God.
Yes. So it's a dumb ATS platform.
I think a lot of bias also comes from there, because of the kind of feed we give in and the kind of results that we get.
Yeah.
So, that's one more challenging aspect of AI which has to be handled carefully and scrutinized as and when required.
It is a tech failure, but at the same time, it's tech and human failure, because either we have not trained people, in a correct way to use that ATS, or the ATS is not, user-friendly for the person who is using it. So either or.
True.
But yeah.
Natasha, what is your experience?
I think every technology failure, like she mentioned, is an opportunity for us to learn and do better. In terms of trends, I would say these are the trends of the past where, there used to be huge mistakes or there used to be huge gaps. I think AI is something which is, very fail-fast kind of mechanism. If you're failing, you very quickly pick it up and you are able to course correct it even more quickly because it is artificial intelligence. You tell them their mistakes and they become better with understanding what's going wrong.
They are pretty good at learning.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. If AI could replace one HR task forever, what would you pick? Kajal.
As I said, I think it's very hard for me to pick one, honestly. Anything that is repetitive in any HR job.
One task, you have to mention the name.
Okay, I have to mention the name. I would say payroll.
Okay, Natasha?
I would say creation of any reports. I mean, it's very manual. It's like, you have to go apply formulas on Excel, learn Power BI, this and that. I want AI to be able to give me the data in the format that I need. And then I can read through it and form my insights and move very quickly towards solutioning.
True. Okay, next. Would you rather be interviewed by an AI that thinks it is human or a human who acts like a robot?
AI which thinks as a human. I think the question is very interesting, Vandana. What is really required in hiring is the humanness. So either it needs to come from AI or it needs to come from a human being. What is really the key here is the humanness in hiring, which while we try to digitize everything, we also need to humanize it, right?
So you want AI to hire you?
I want the human aspect in the hiring, whether it is AI or human being.
Okay.
Yeah.
Natasha?
I don't want anything in Gen Z lingo, Delulu, to be hiring me. So if the AI is thinking it is human, no. Bring me someone who is aware of who they are and, what are their strengths or weaknesses, so that when I am answering, they understand my strengths and weaknesses in the best possible manner.
So you're open to AI or human, whoever it is.
It is. It's just that they should be very much aware of the reality, be able to think in layers and be able to comprehend what I'm trying to say.
Nice, not bad. We are actually accepting AI as our next interviewer.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Okay, next question. Did an AI or a human write this performance review comment? Employee consistently exceeds expectation, unlike the printer. What do you have to say, Natasha?
Definitely AI. Or it could be a human also if they have not slept properly.
Kajal?
I think it's human. I think human can come up with that kind of sarcasm.
Very true. I think only human can handle another human,
Yeah.
which is not possible for AI to handle.
Yeah.
Great. So we are done with our rapid fire. Let's move on to debunking some of the myths that are prevalent with regards to AI in HR.
Okay.
Yeah? Natasha, AI will replace all HR jobs.
Definitely not. AI will replace those HR jobs which were not worth HR's time anyhow. So I feel that maybe shared services, maybe jobs which required, like she mentioned, a lot of transactional work, that should be definitely replaced by AI. Because I still feel, I'm a firm believer that human beings need to do better things. They need to explore their own potential and layers of their intelligence.
True. Kajal?
No, it will not.
I know you believe in being in touch with human and
absolutely. It's not going to replace all jobs. It might replace some of the jobs or some tasks in various jobs, but it is not going to replace all the jobs.
True. AI hiring tools are completely unbiased. Natasha?
I don't think so. If we look at bias from a human angle, right? Let's say conformity bias or affinity bias. Probably yes, AI is immune to that. But again, what kind of filters, what kind of data is being fed into the AI might,
Great bias.
expose them to be biased as well. So it depends on how intelligent is the person giving the commands to the AI, how intelligent is the person programming that AI to look at the situation in a neutral way. I would think that is important.
Kajal, what do you have to say?
I think, AI can be also biased, and it's not AI as a platform can be biased, but the person who is feeding the information in, right? So it's very simple, garbage in, garbage out. So the person who is sitting at the end and feeding the information in AI, that person needs to be intelligent and human and unbiased, or at least program AI in such a way where it can give you results in an unbiased way. So it depends. The answer is it depends.
True. In fact, there's one instance that I can think of,
Yeah.
when we were feeding data in AI about all the resumes that were being hired in the earlier years and things like that. So it was all the male who were being hired. And that's what AI learned, that, okay, these are the kind of people that I need to hire. So when it came to hiring, there were only male who were being interviewed or being shortlisted. So I think sometimes AI is just understanding it's been given. Sometimes it's not even a mistake of a person who is feeding it also. So I think what we can do best is probably keep on monitoring as and when required what is happening, and that's where I think intervention of humans are relevant and
Absolutely
will make sense.
Absolutely
True. Employees hate AI in HR. I don't think so.
No.
Maybe I'll answer your question.
I don't
both
think
believe
so.
in AI.
And there is no one answer to it, Vandana. It's very hard to even understand who is hating it or not. There will always be some early adopters for any technology. They will love it. And then there will be, someone who are little rigid, who have mental blocks. They will not. So no, it's. I don't think people hate it.
If you look at a more holistic picture, maybe if you can just look at more organizations, you've worked in so many organizations like Atlas Copco and Wipro and things like that. So on a broader picture or maybe a bigger picture, do you think it's something that people are happy about AI and they want to adopt it?
They're curious about it, I would say. I will not tag happy or sad or they are, resistant to change. I would say they're curious. Some people are more curious and they're exploring it. And some people are curious and they're in their thoughts and talking about it. What will happen if it comes? But they don't realize that it is already there, right? So they're curious. In HR space, I have seen, and I'm only looking at the HR people and culture and, L&D space. I think people are curious. They're ready. Majority of them ready to accept it. But if I look at other part of the organization, are they fully ready or are they fully curious about it? Maybe no. I see more resistance on that side.
I think maybe the industry-wise we can...
It depends on industry to industry, honestly. It also depends different nature of work, different, generations, all other aspects also come into the play here.
True.
Absolutely. So example, for Amazon, if I look at people who are working on the front line in the customer service, they are someone who are facing the customer day in and day out, maybe taking 40-50 calls per day. The nature of their work is very dynamic and is very human-centric. So if they have to meet an HR, and if I am asking them to talk to an AI, they are not going to be happy about it. If at all they want to say something about their manager or manager's manager or something like that, they have a grievance, they will definitely need an HR. And even having an HR on the floor just for some kind of mental moral support is crucial for them. True. But let's say if I'm talking about engineers who are working at a very different plane altogether, their challenges, their concerns need not necessarily require an HR to talk about it. They are very well equipped to talk to their managers or directly go to their senior leaders and get solved for that. Especially in an organization like Amazon, right, where let's say we have to write a lot of concept papers. We call it as documents. We call it as PR FAQs. Any idea of ours we need to present, in a document format. People who used to write those documents manually earlier and now have an AI to at least write a first draft for them are immensely happy. The time duration has cut down significantly. Earlier, there used to be 17, 20, 25 versions of a document. Now it is done maybe in 6, 7, 8 versions.
Wow,
so I think,
nice.
Yes, how it is helping you in a more and more frustration-less way is dependent on how you are adopting it, what kind of requirement it is fulfilling for you. I feel people do not hate it. If you ask me, people are just very mindful that what's in it for me. Is this AI for my benefit or not?
This reminds me of, so in one of my previous organization where I worked, there were a group of copywriters, right? And that was a time when ChatGPT was, it was getting a little famous. It was trending. It started trending in India, and people in organizations started using it. Now, these are set of copywriters or content writers, quite tenured in industry, and they had absolute hate towards ChatGPT, right? And they were so open about it. They went ahead and, they spoke to the general manager of the organization. Why don't you block this site? This is not right if people are using ChatGPT. People might, copy paste their confidential information, which is right. People might do that, unknowingly or unintentionally. They might copy paste just because they want to rewrite their emails. But we could see a huge active resistance towards ChatGPT, specifically from a group of copywriters, right? And later on, we realized that it's also personal insecurity of those professionals or disliking towards the platform, because, as when you're into copywriting or content writing, it's a form of art. Yeah. You're writing, you're presenting your thoughts, expressing it, on paper. And for them, it was a big no-no. So when we are talking about hatred, I think that was the only time when I could see active hatred towards ChatGPT.
Maybe I should use the word fear. Maybe they fear
they were maybe scared or they disliked it because, as an artist, you have certain approach. You're too attached to your work. It becomes your identity, and then there is something else which just came and says, hey, I can do better than you, right?
True.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so what I can understand is, AI is here and it is making our life easier. Now, how organizations perceive it, we have to also think of that,
Yes.
If the employees are happy and if they have time, let them be and, use their time in their mental well-being or doing things which they like. And that way they are happier. They would like to stay in the organization. And even organizations will be, extracting work eventually as when required, making them into other areas like building a strategy or, working towards more business point of view. So I think we can look at both the sides where employees are happy and even organizations are happy that, all their employees are being there with them for so long, and retaining them is not a problem anymore now because AI is there to assist them. Wow, that's nice. So moving on to next question. AI once hired a candidate because his name was Python and the job required Python skills. Fact or fiction?
I have not heard about it, so I would call it a fiction.
Can happen.
It can happen.
Yeah, I think initial stages when people were trying to explore, definitely it can happen.
Nice. So nice. We have debunked a couple of myths and we have a final verdict that AI is more of an assistant than overlord, at least for now. If you have a different view, please let us know in the comments. We would love to read them. Moving on to the next section where, I would like to discuss few topics and speak about it. Do you think AI does performance reviews better than human?
Like I said, it depends on what kind of role we are looking at and what kind of competencies or what kind of parameters we are evaluating. If we are evaluating certain extremely objective parameters, maybe there's just a scorecard by which you have to go, or there's just revenue that the person is bringing in by which you have to go, billing, then I think a first level of job can be done by an AI into stacking the people basis that. But then if you have to look at the potential of a person, right? Some softer aspects, some soft skills, maybe a team management, maybe a problem solving, maybe bias for action, maybe customer obsession. All of these things, I think, will still need human intervention. There will be a need of people to sit in the room, discuss, calibrate, question their own biases, and then evaluate those people. So I think it depends on the level that the employee is working in, what kind of role, what kind of skills. First level of job can be done, probably.
True, definitely. What do you think? AI can do better performance reviews?
I have, it's very hard to answer this question in isolation. I would say that performance review is performance enablement, right? It's not a one-time process in a year, right? It is viewed as one-time process in a year, but if you look at the entire philosophy of performance, it's year-long engagement between, stakeholder, whether it is manager or subordinate, or, superior or supervisor with their, reportee, however, whatever we call it. I don't think AI can do a better job than what a human can do, right? But AI can help eliminate biases. So manager can be, equipped with some XYZ AI tool so that they are, they are getting better at, giving feedback. They are getting better at capturing those feedback, putting it in, in a form of data. It can be an enabler, but it cannot do a job all independently without a human or a manager support. That's what my view is, because performance review is not one time or one meeting process. It's year-long engagement where you really help somebody develop, groom.
Definitely.
So yeah.
And I think AI cannot bring
No.
donuts also.
Which is the saddest part. And still it can't do that.
True.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Moving on to the next topic.
Yeah.
AI-driven hiring is more ethical than human-led hiring. What do you have to say?
Ethical, I think, questionable, but easier. I would definitely say yes. More fair, meaning providing opportunity to more people, because human will definitely have some time constraints. If you're asking one recruiter to look at 100 resumes in a day, their productivity or efficiency or accuracy will definitely get impacted. Whereas if AI is doing that job, they will do that job fairly well and allow the recruiter to then shortlist extremely relevant resumes. So I feel it is more convenient.
More convenient. I think that would be a right word. True. Kajal, what do you have to say?
Just to add, it's more efficient. I'm not sure if it is ethical or not, because as we discussed, the person who's going to use the AI, that is the thing that will define whether it is ethical or not. But it's definitely efficient. So
true, efficient, time consuming, more productive, and
time
it gives us all the time that we crave for as HR.
Yes.
Okay, next topic. AI-powered employee monitoring does more harm than good. So do you think, Natasha, AI-powered employee monitoring, where, AI is all the time seeing how much screen time she is on the screen and how much keyboard is she using, what is the speed at which she's using, and where is she heading to, where all the information is there with AI.
And, just to add, I know you asked Natasha, but I'm right now interrupting.
You're welcome.
I think the philosophy of monitoring employee, that itself is, it's just gone, right? If any organization or if any manager or leader thinks and feels that they need to monitor an employee, hey, we need a change there, then the problem is not AI, the thought process is the problem, right? So as a philosophy, monitoring employee, I don't think it sits well in today's time. I don't think it was ever right, but I'm not going to comment on what has happened. But I think as a philosophy, it's not right.
See, honestly, I feel it depends again on the kind of role. If I have people working in the warehouse, on the shop floor, I definitely need to monitor them. It is a reality of the world. We have done time and motion studies. There is a requirement for people to be available for these many hours. There are scheduled breaks so that the production line is not getting impacted.
True.
And at such a place, rather than a supervisor just standing there to look at 20, 50, 100 people working, sticking to their schedule or not, I think AI can definitely do a better job. Secondly, there are certain roles, maybe like a customer service support kind of a role, wherein people are operating from home. Every day I keep getting calls for loan, right? There is a background noise of a crying child and I'm not able to hear that person, thankfully. But So if people are operating from home, how am I going to ascertain, like, how much time this person is working or not? So I agree with Kajal partially that for some roles which require high judgment, which are more complex in the managerial domain, in the leadership domain, monitoring is not the way to go. But for roles wherein, productivity is a major metric which companies measure, I think AI can do a very good job, should do a very good job. It also creates some kind of safety net in terms of security. Let's say one of my customer service associates is working from home, and the AI sees that, somebody else from their household or from their friend's domain is coming and looking at their screen. I have sensitive customer data over there, like a customer's phone
Information.
number, email ID, payment information, or address. I don't
True.
want somebody else to be looking at that. So such kind of things can always be flagged off. Similarly, we utilized AI to find a big impersonation racket, right? So what was happening is people were posing as somebody, giving the interviews, and then somebody else actually joined because this was work from home and the organization might not know. So we had to implement facial recognition features into the system's camera itself to identify if the person who had interviewed with us is the person who has joined and is the same person who is doing their job right now. So I think because there is more and more innovation in terms of cheating the system, and there needs to be more and more innovation into ensuring that the right practices are being followed.
What do you think is the future of AI in HR?
Okay. Basis what we are discussing now, I think it's going to be fully AI enabled people practices. That's how I am looking at it, and that's what I even expect. Things that are that will help HR professionals to take better decision and also function in a more productive and efficient way. That is what the future looks like for me. That it's a combination of thinking and doing. There will be some elements of thinking that AI will take over, definitely, but I think the majority of it, the philosophy, the culture, strategy, where do we want to go, where do we want to reach, that is something which will be done by humans and HR professionals in their domain. And I think the execution, and you have an assistant. You spoke about that AI will act as an assistant. It is acting as an assistant for all of us, right? I'm sure we all are active users of chat GPTs and gamma AIs and all of that. Not promoting it, but that's where we are using it actively without somebody else selling it to us, right? And similarly, when we see value in AI, that it is going to make my life easy, we will use it. It is going to join hands very soon, and it is going to be a combination of thinking and doing together.
True.
Yeah.
So do you have any kind of advice, or maybe you would like to say anything to HR folks who have just started working or are going to pass out from college? Yes. What kind of AI learning that they should have to upskill and to get into their job market?
Yeah, I would say 2 tips from my side. One is know the tools, right? We only know ChatGPT, but there are 50 more tools which are equally great and then can give you more better output, right? And not only for writing, but other things as well. So my first suggestion is explore all the tools, number 1. Number 2 is you cannot outsource your original thoughts and ideas. And that's where you need to come into the picture as an individual. When you're using any AI tool or any technology for that matter, you need to have your own thought process instead of making AI tool do everything and use prompt. And I'm sure you all have heard about prompt engineering, which is important. What do you need and why do you need it should come from your brain and not from the AI tool.
True.
Right.
And that's how we evolve and understand things better.
So my suggestion is people who are really actively using AI tools, make sure that the ideas are your own ideas, original ideas, your thoughts, and you're very clear about it. Why do you need it? What are you asking for? And the how can come from, of course, somewhere else.
Great, Kajal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Natasha, where do you see AI in HR in 2030? That is like 4 years and 6 months from now?
So, Vandana, as an HR professional, I want to first take a step back. And rather than only looking at the role of AI in HR, I also want to look at the role of HR in the world of work, right? If you look at the history of humankind, we have evolved from a primarily, jungle living society to then a settled agricultural society to then society after industrial revolution, which was mainly centered around manufacturing, to now a modern society who is mainly about services and consumerism. This is how the workforce has evolved over time, right? And currently the panic that has hit the world is because of the fact that people might be losing jobs and organizations might become leaner and leaner. And hence, as an HR professional, we need to identify the trend first. If bulky organizations, if large organizations is not the future of work, then as an HR professional, how am I designing work for the people? If gigs, if startups, if small industries, if small companies are going to be my future, as an HR professional, does it make more sense for me to only evolve into an organizational role? Or it makes more sense for me to also evolve in a gig-based freelancer role? So as I am adapting to the evolving world of work, that is when I am adapting better to utilizing AI in that world of work. So if I am an organization-based HR, it makes more sense for me to utilize the HR, not only learn it myself, not only upskill myself, but to build certain products for the organization's benefit in short term as well as long term. But if I am looking at my future as an HR who can service at any point of time, may the organization role stays or not in the future, I have to also diversify and be able to apply my skill into helping maybe multiple organizations, smaller organizations who come to me for solutions, right? Maybe a one-time thing or a two-time thing as a consultant. And hence, if I say, look at 5 to 6 years down the line, like you are mentioning, actually the world might transform in a very big way in a very short time also. It depends on me, how do I stay relevant in that time? By constantly upskilling myself, by doing things which are also outside of my work domain, right? And that gives me a cushion to survive in any kind of scenario, in any kind of situation as an HR professional, not as someone who works with a particular organization.
Very true. So I think we can summarize it by saying that AI is here. We have to embrace it. We have to unlearn, learn, and see what are the best ways we can adopt it and, help us in our mundane task and help us in increasing the productivity of not just us, but also of the organization in the long run. I'm sure everyone understands that. So great. I think we have done a decent job of assuring that robots won't steal our HR jobs, at least as of now. Thank you, Natasha, for coming, and thank you, Kajal. It was pleasure talking to you and having your insights about AI in HR. Thank you so much.
Same here. Pleasure is ours. And
Thank you so much.
it is just I think it's an interesting topic, and I don't think it will stop here.
True.
Maybe we will meet again and we will keep discussing it. And there will be a point very soon where we will discuss what are those areas of HR that are now taken care by AI, and what are some of those areas, because something else is handled by AI now, something else will come up very soon, which will create more jobs, not only in HR, but I think in other areas as well. So I'm looking forward to those discussions very soon.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.